Hello there everyone, welcome back to the final video in this sort of intro set review period for Star Wars Unlimited Shadows of the Galaxy. I was about to say Spark of Rebellion there. The second set, of course, lots of other videos to come, but this is my initial set review period. So here I'm going to be talking about the hero cards, the villainy cards, and then I'm going to be doing a preliminary tier list for how good I think the leaders are going to be. And this is going to be sort of just the set 2 leaders, and I'll do a whole tier list, I think, for the overall meta after that. So this is just going to be a quick how good I think all the leaders are relative to one another. So let's go ahead and jump in. Don't want to waste any time. So we've got some starter deck cards to talk about here. This is Incinerator Trooper. This is a 2/2/2. While attacking, this unit deals combat damage before the defender. I think this card does have potential. I mean, you know, this is basically the shoot first ability, but on a card with stats this bad, that is just cheap, it is vulnerable to pretty much every bit of removal that exists in the game, and so my inclination is this is probably bad, but may be a cool combo someday. Next, we've got Black Sun Starfighter. This is a 3/3/2 Sentinel. Having a cheap generic Sentinel is always a nice thing. This is something you might want to pull out with like a Vader, for example. But I think this is probably not a great card unless, like, I think the situations when you'll play this it'll purely be because this is the only reasonable meta answer, the only reasonable answer that exists for a particular meta. Next, we have got Toro Calican. Okay, this card's ridiculous. This is a 3/3/5. Could stop at 3/3/5 for 1 villainy. So this is seeing play in basically every deck that can play it. But then, when you play another Bounty Hunter unit, you may deal 1 damage to it. If you do, ready this unit. Use this ability only once each round. So this is crazy. This card says deal 6 damage if you're playing a Bounty Hunter deck, and otherwise it's just a 3/3/5, which is, again, like, above rate. I think they've probably balanced the game around 3/3/5s, and we're slowly getting more and more of them. And I imagine set 3 is where we're going to get the final wave of 3/3/5s, giving every color and every combo like access to them. At the moment, Villainy is eating the best on these. This card is nuts, absolutely insane. Don't know why it's an uncommon. This is better than some of the legendaries in the set. Yeah, I expect this will see a lot of play. Next, we've got Hutt's Henchman. This is a 4/3/4 that is shielded. I think the utility of this is going to be very limited. You know, in Gar, it's a 4/4/4 shielded, which is okay, but it's a little bit expensive. It's an option, right? It's an option. And don't get me wrong, like, if this card was in set 1, we probably would have played it in Boba Yellow. But, yeah, it seems fine. It seems fine. I think there's just better 4-drop options now in most colors. Next, we've got Kragan Gore. This is a 6/6/6. When an enemy unit attacks your base, give a shield token to a friendly attacker in the same arena as friendly unit in the same arena as the attacker. I think this is fine, but on a 6-drop, I think I need it to be doing far more, and this is not really doing enough. Cool engine tool, potentially, but yeah. Then we've got Gideon's Light Cruiser. This is an 8/7/8 with Overwhelm, and when played, if you control Moff Gideon, play a villainy unit that costs 3 or less from your hand or discard pile for free. So, you know, this is essentially like an 8/10/10, right? You know, if you, I mean, 3-drops, really, you can pull out a 3/5s. This is really an 8/10/13, which is great stats, right? That's unequivocally very good. It's pretty big, though. It has Overwhelm, which is nice, but then in case you've got, you know, opponent's got to be playing something in space. I think this card is decent. I'm just, again, it's not the most impactful. If it had Ambush instead of Overwhelm, then maybe, I mean, again, like, how useful is an Ambush in space? Less so than on the ground, but still useful. Yeah, I think this is good, though. I think this is good. I don't know how much play it'll see, but I think it could see play. Next, we've got Altering the Deal. So this is discard a captured card guarded by a friendly unit. So this basically turns any of your capture effects into an actual removal effect. Depending on how many pushed capture effects we get moving forward, I think this could see play, but as it stands, it's sort of like a bad 2-card removal. You never really want a 2-for-1 unless it's like crazy value, right? Like, so, I don't know. I think it's a little iffy. Alright, next we've got No Bargain. Each opponent discards a card from the hand, draw a card. I think this will see play in discard-focused decks. Unfortunately, most of those are hero decks. And discarding 1 card in this game is nowhere near as good as discarding 2, for example, because you do draw 2 a turn. Though, of course, you know, in the early turns when you're resourcing every turn, or against control decks where you're resourcing every turn, you're going to be doing, this is going to be putting in some work. I think, in particular, against control decks, this could be really, really nice. So, I think there is going to be a sideboard place for this at the minimum. The fact you get to keep you just draw a new card is obviously great. It's a trick, so for Jabba, this only costs 2. For 2, this card's very good, but for 3, it's less good. Yeah, I don't know, I think this is decent. Next up, we've got, if it'll load, the Grief Cargo. So we're on to Hero. This is a 2/2/2. When played, so it's top 5 for an upgrade, reveal it, and draw it. This is fine. I think, you know, if you're playing a very upgrade-heavy deck, you may play this. I doubt you will be. But I can see this, you know, if we ever move into a deck where you have to play those upgrades. Grey Squadron Y-Wing. This is a 1/3 that sometimes burns 2 to things, but will never burn where you want it to burn. Obviously, you'd ideally want to put your opponent in the situation where it's always a bad option. So if they deal damage to their unit, then you're going to be able to like remove it or something. But the awkward part here is, I believe, the on attack resolves after you've declared the target of the attack, so you can't be like, oh cool, you put your thing onto 1 HP while I'm going to attack into it with my Grey Squadron Y-Wing. So this isn't really a 3/3. This is worse significantly, but I don't think it's bad. I just think there's better options. Next, we've got Protector of the Throne. This is a 3/2/4. While it's upgraded, it gains Sentinel. It is Mandalorian traded. I think this could see play. You know, if you give it an experience, suddenly it's a 3/5 Sentinel for 3, which is not bad. So like Rey, for example, might really like this. It's a 4 cost in that deck, but you know what I mean. I think there is some potential to this card. Next up, we've got Tech. Each friendly resource gains Smuggle. The gained Smuggle cost is that card's cost +2 and its aspect icons. So, hilariously, if you use Tech on DJ, DJ becomes playable. Yeah, I don't know. DJ becomes actually super playable for 5, stealing a resource. Okay, now we're cooking. So I don't know, maybe maybe there'll be some really funny Tech DJ combos that happen, because I think that could be actually quite good. But yeah, it seems like an interesting card. I think we just, you know, I think we just have to wait and see what set 3 brings. Next up, we've got Wookiee Warrior. This is a 2/5 with grit. When played, if you control a Wookiee, draw a card. This seems like a draft card to me. I don't think it's good enough to really see play, even though it has grit. And this is a 3 cost. Maybe we're cooking, but not at all. Then we got Tarful. This is a 7/3/9 with Restore 2. When a friendly Wookiee unit is dealt combat damage and isn't defeated, that unit deals as much damage to the enemy ground unit. So to an enemy ground unit. So it can be anywhere where it takes the damage, but to deal the damage is to the ground. This seems fine. It's a 7-drop. It's pretty late game, but the payoff is not bad. I mean, this is a huge unit. This doesn't have grit. I don't know. I mean, Wookiee Tribal doesn't seem fantastic. I'm not going to lie. Then we've got the Mandalorian's Rifle. This is a crazy card. This is a 3/0. When played, if the attached unit is the Mandalorian, he captures an exhausted enemy non-leader unit. So this just captures anything. This makes Mando a 7/7. And immediately exhausts something with 6 HP or less, right? So the combo is, with your leader Mandalorian, you deploy, equip the rifle, tap whatever you want to capture, and then capture it. If it's already tapped, you capture it and you tap something else. So this is a really good card. This is like a very good reason to want to play the Mandalorian, right? This is a great payoff. How good is it? I'm not 100% sure yet, and we do need to see what happens, because technically leaders don't leave play. So at the moment, based on our understanding of the rules, unless they change them, it seems like if you capture something with a leader, it's captured forever, it's gone. So we'll need to see how good that ends up being, but I think there's a lot of potential with this card. It's a very, very powerful card. Next, we've got Smuggler's Aid. This is 1 to heal 3 from your base, or you can smuggle it in for 3. I don't think this card's bad, actually. I think, like, later on in the game, like, you would totally smuggle this for 3 if it's going to stop you from losing the game. So I think this may see some sideboard play. It seems more like a draft card, but I think it could see some sideboard play. This is the way. Search top 8 for 2 Mandalorians, or upgrades, and/or upgrades, reveal them and draw them. This is, you know, 2 to +1 is definitely good. The question is, like, how good is a Mandalorian/upgrade deck? We'll need to see. And then I think we have some generics. Bounty Guild Initiate, 1/1/2. When played, if you control another bounty hunter, you may deal 2 damage to a ground unit. I don't think this is great. If this was Underworld traded as well, maybe we're cooking, but I don't think this is really that good. It does turn on Toro, though. Lady Proxima, this is a 1/0/4. When you play another Underworld card, deal 1 damage to a base. This is going to be a very interesting card, because I think there will be decks that make a very good use out of this. Underworld decks that are just pinging like damage to base, like 1/1/1/1, and then suddenly they're going to win the game out of nowhere. I'd be aware of this card. There's a lot of really powerful Underworld cards. Like, it's any Underworld card, right? It's events, upgrades, like whatever, right? Anything with Underworld. So I'd be aware. I think next is, yeah, this is maybe the best card in the set. Unironically, this generic is probably the card that's best in the set. This is a 2/3/2. Action 4, take control of this unit. Any player may use this ability. This is the most staple 3 of in every single deck I have ever seen. There is no downside, right? Like, if you pay 4 to steal a 2-drop ship, go ahead, buddy. Go ahead. It is all yours. Because firstly, okay, let's just, right. Firstly, if you're spending 4 to take a 2/3 ship, what are you doing, right? Fine. Secondly, depending on the order of the turns, right? If they, like, on your 3 resource turn, on your 4 resource turn, if they have initiative and they just steal the gunship, just steal it back. Great. That turn's a wash. If they don't have initiative, you attack with the gunship first, and if they steal it after you've attacked with it, oh my god, who cares? Yeah, this is insane. This is so good. If you're not playing 3 copies of this in every single deck, I don't know what you're doing. And it's underworld traded for some reason. Crazy card. Then next we got Mandalorian Warrior. This is a 3/3. When played, you may give an experience token to another Mandalorian unit. I doubt this will be seeing play. If you could give it to itself, then maybe. But I guess it's pretty decent at Mandalorians. And then Street Gang Recruiter is a 5/4/4 Underworld. When played, you may return an Underworld card from your discard pile to your hand. This may see play. 5/4/4 is not great, but adding back anything that's Underworld rated is. So we will need to experiment with this one. And I suspect that... Okay, then we've got Rich Reward, 1-drop upgrade, attach unit against bounty, give an experience token to each of up 2 units. I think this is actually quite a good bounty, and I think this may see play. It's pretty decent. So then we got a couple of remaining bits that have just come out. We got Ruthless Assassin. This is a 2/3/3 with Overwhelm, and when played, deal 2 damage to a friendly unit. I think this may see play. Yeah, I'd pay 2 for a 3/1 with Overwhelm, right? I paid 2 for a 3/2 Probe Droid, and this is functionally identical, except against Sabine Wren exclusively, I guess. So, yeah, I don't know. I think this is probably quite good. And then as you can distribute the damage out further, it gets better. You know, love the idea of this with Toro. It's another triggering card for that. Like, you can potentially really start triggering Toro a lot if you've got lots of cheap bounty hunters. Yeah, I think this card's decent. Would it see play? Maybe. It's a 2/3/3. Like, you know, don't sleep on that. Of course, if it's your turn 1 play, it's a 2/3/1. So, you know, depending on the deck. We got Twin Pod Cloud card. This is a 3/2/2 with Restore 2. Honestly, I think probably not necessary, but, you know, this would have seen play during set 1. I really think this would have. Yeah, like, I really think there was a chance into just giving an option into aggro decks. But there we go. So that's all of those cards. It's tier list time. Whoa. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put all of these where I think they are. So just for clarity, S is going to be definitely, if I can spell, definitely competitive. A is going to be probably competitive. B is going to be maybe competitive. C is going to be probably not competitive. And D is going to be trash. So, what are we going to start with? And by trash, what I mean is no reason to play. And there's a couple of those. So, actually, no, let's not do trash. Let's do waiting room. And waiting room is cards that very clearly we you know, they need future support. So I think we can immediately put Hunter in there. That is absolutely a leader that, like, you know, it's clearly not ready yet. Another waiting room leader is going to be Bo-Katan. I don't think we have the Mandalorian support just yet. So I think that is waiting room for sure. And I think Hondo as well. We don't have good enough smuggles just yet. Onto probably not competitive. That's definitely going to be Poe. I don't think Moff is going to be competitive. I don't think, as much as I love her, I forgot her name, Fennec, love her. As much as I love her, Fennec is probably not competitive either. Just because, I don't know, dude, it's very, very, very rough. Only having a 4/4 on a 5 deploy. It's a really bad body, and I think you're just going to get blown out by way too much of the format. I think fundamentally, to even make it to maybe competitive, I need to envisage you being able to take on Boba and Sabine, and I cannot imagine this being able to take on Boba and Sabine. Sabine maybe, but I don't know, dude. Sabine goes so fast. Actually, no, definitely not. Definitely not Sabine. Definitely not Boba. I just can't imagine it. Lando, waiting room as well, I think. I think, like, he just needs more cards that are really cracked with it. We just don't have enough really powerful smuggles yet. Okay, let's put one in definitely competitive. That's going to be Han Red. I cannot see this leader not being competitive. It cheats costs. It's insanely versatile. There is no chance this is not competitive. Another one that is definitely competitive, in my opinion, is going to be Cad Bane. Now, is Cad Bane going to be better than Boba Yellow, or like than Yellow Boba? Probably not, but does it matter? Like, that's a separate thing. Like, yes, it's not going to be the best yellow deck, most likely, but is it going to be a competitive yellow deck? I think possibly. And we're going to need to see where this red Tarkin Town route takes us, because I think there's a lot of potential there. But yeah, I think this is definitely potential here. Kylo. I feel like I need to put Kylo in the waiting room. I just think, like, the strategy is not... I don't know. I'm going to put it in maybe competitive. I think it's probably not. And this is definitely, like, a bit of copium. But fundamentally, this deck can do some bullshit, and you can just blow people out and win. And against 25 HP bases, like, you go so fast, they might not be able to keep up. So, I am going to... I mean, obviously, ECL is just going to kill your stuff, so... Right? But, you know, there's a chance. But... It's a pretty slim chance. Boba Green. I'm gonna say probably competitive. I think there's a lot of really good cards in this deck. I think it's just got a lot of really good stuff. I think probably. We're gonna go with probably. I'm gonna drop Cad Bane down to probably as well. I think I think like a Cad actually. Okay, no, I'm gonna give that. Okay, Mandalorian. I think is probably competitive as well. Be very surprised if it wasn't. And we're going to go the same with Bosk. Actually, you know what? I'm going to put Bosk in definitely. I'm on some copium. I'm going to do it. Jabba the Hutt. I'm going to put in probably. And I think I'm going to put Kira in probably as well. I think I underrated this card a little bit in my initial review, but the more I've thought about it, and the more I've, like, actually being able to just give anything a shield for 1 and 2 damage is kind of crazy. And it's actually, like, quite good. And I think as well, like, being able to just heal the board and then, like, deal half damage to everything, like, it's just going to enable, like, some really powerful removal tools. And also, it's not a 4/4, right? This could be like a 7/1, right? And so, I don't know. I think, like, I was a little low on this card. I think it does have potential. And I think, like, you know, if you view it as just a tool to get to the late game, then I think, like, this is absolutely going to let you get to the late game. And I think this could be a really viable control strategy. And when you're able to do stuff like give your Avenger, like, a shield token, or, well, not even Avenger necessarily, but just give your big things shields, it can be really good. So actually, yeah, I'm gonna put this here. I think we're sort of filling out the maybe competitive tier very easily now. I think that's going to be Kylo and Rey, born to be together there. Afra, I think we're going to need to see, might be waiting room. And Gar, I think, is also probably maybe, but we need to see. I think Bosk. This is okay. I will say, okay. I gotta be fair. I think Han is the only one I'm 100% sure is going to be competitive. Like, there is zero doubt in my mind. The rest of these, I can see them potentially not being competitive, and they seem more edge casey. If I'm honest with myself, Mandalorian's probably down here as well. But I just can't see, like, any of these being competitive. And I really think these leaders definitely need, like, further support. But that's really good. You can see there's at least one leader in every color that is like, I'm going like, hey, there's a shot here. There's a real shot. Of course, I think the money showcase in the set is going to be Han. It's going to be Java. I think those are very, very hyped characters. I think Bosk is probably going to be pretty good. But yeah, there we go. Anyway, that's it. That's my tier list for my initial thoughts. I will, closer to release, do a tier list with all the set 1 leaders and set 2 leaders so we can get a full picture and see exactly what the situation is likely to be for the meta. But I want to do some more testing. This is all very much theory crafting and hearing other people's thoughts and having discussions with people. So let's see how that does. Let me know in the comment section down below if you disagree or you agree with anything I've said in this video. If you found it useful, please do like it, subscribe to the channel for lots more Star Wars Unlimited content. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, of course, like and subscribe. Thank you if you're seeing this on Patreon. Your support is really appreciated. Hope you enjoyed getting all the stuff early, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Cheers.